Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Now tuned into the greatest.
So when that bag come, I won't fumble. I'm just stacking on the low, but hey, I'm tired of being humble. Let me get to it. That motivation music. Get control of your life, don't let nobody else do it. Cause when I gon' have Metro S550s cruising. Feel like you winning on the ground.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, the first interactive sports podcast. I appreciate you for tuning in, man. Oh, man, it's been a long off season. I'm so excited to get here. Thanks for tuning in with your big homie, Manny Wilson, man. Get $20 off of SeatGeek. That's the first things first, man. It's been a minute, so everything's out of order right now. But the first things first is I appreciate SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off of your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code The Run Podcast. This code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app, website, anything, where you can purchase your tickets. Go ahead, use it. It only works for first-time purchases. So if you haven't, or if you have already purchased something, go ahead, create that account, sign in, use the code The Run Podcast. And of course, you will enjoy yourself a great sporting event, a great concert, whatever the case is, and whatever you can possibly find tickets for. So definitely go check that out. But man, so excited to be back. It feels like it's been literally forever. Oh my gosh, it feels like it's been forever. This has been a very, very long offseason. And before I blabber on about the Falcons and what I'm expecting us to do this season, let's just start off by saying it's been a very, very long offseason, bro. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what a lot of y'all been doing this offseason, but personally, I've been trying to just find any and everything to do where I'm not driving myself crazy and where I'm not thinking too much about football, but I can't help it. Like, I found myself watching old games, watching the old Atlanta Falcon and Carolina Panthers games with Matt Ryan and Cam Newton. I'm reminiscing on the good times of the Falcons days when my team was actually a playoff team. During the offseason, there was a lot of different things happening, bro. Like, it was so many different things. I mean, I went to Colombia. It was traveled a little bit. Yeah, definitely, man. It was just super cool, though. Definitely a fun offseason. And, this is some of the things that I try and do intentionally in the offseason. But, I mean, we're back now. So I'm excited. Back here to talk football with y'all. Back here to talk, oh, my gosh, man. Offseason stuff, training camp, all of this stuff. It's wild. And I can't wait to jump into some of these conversations. So let's not wait any longer. And the first thing, I'm actually very, very excited about this because there was something. And mind you got to keep something in mind. So I ran into a Falcons fan the other day. And, I know it's like common to run into common football fans, whatever. That's cool. But I ran into a Falcons fan the other day. And keep in mind, I live in Chicago, bro. So you don't really see too many Falcons fans. You don't see really too many NFC South fans. You damn near don't see many people outside of Lions and Bears, some of the few Packers fans in there. So when I met a fellow Falcon fan, my heart just was beating as fast as possible. You would have thought I seen Zendaya right in front of me. Pause. But, bro, I was so excited. Man, because, I don't really get to talk ball outside of the pod. I don't really get to talk ball with Falcons fans, like that in person every single day. So it was something that was very exciting. And one of the things we were talking about, it wasn't just me. Like, it gave me confirmation it wasn't just me, that I'm not crazy, that I'm so nervous about this Atlanta Falcons offense. Because this is the thing that we were having a conversation on. I'm like, all right, man, yeah. The defense is solid. Defense has been doing what they do. This is, I'm not really worried about the defense. The defense would finish top 5 in sacks last year. They were top 5 in passing yards, finishing the season or throughout the season, all of last year. It was a lot of things where the defense proved that they were not an issue with the Atlanta Falcons. If anything, the issue with the Atlanta Falcons was the kicker in the offense, because we couldn't put the ball in the end zone and we couldn't put the ball downfield, and we damn sure couldn't make a field goal. It took us damn near 12 weeks to figure out how to make a field goal and how to make an extra point. So, these were some of the things. It was killing us, man. It was killing us down the line. And thankfully, new season, hopefully we don't have to worry about that anymore. But it seems to me that it wasn't just my concern that, oh, I'm worried about these things. There was also his concern. He had those same type of things he was wondering about. I was like, man, I wonder what the offense going to do. Yes, there's the quarterback situation, which is going to steal all of the light from the Atlanta Falcons right now is, oh, well, who's the quarterback? I understand that conversation. I get why there's a big concern. You got a talented offense, but yet we don't know who's going to deliver the ball to all of the skill guys. So I understand that hesitation there. However, I'm not too worried about the quarterback situation. And it probably sounds crazy, but personally, as a Falcons fan, I'm not worried about the quarterback situation. I think either way we'll be in good hands, whether it's Penix or Tua starting the game. Hell, even give me Jack Strand. I'm not super confident about Jack Strand, but I think Jack Strand, based on what I've seen in training camp so far, I know it's just training camp, I think Jack Strand would even be able to do the bare minimum to get Drake London and Bijan and Kyle Pitts and Dotson and Zachariah Branch the ball. Like the offense already is 10 times better than what it was last year. So, in conclusion, the offense is the main concern, but I think the offense will be better because not only is the personnel better than what we had on the Falcons last year, but the coaching staff it has to be better because what we had last year was atrocious. But as long as the play calling and the play design is somewhat decent on offense, I think we'll be just fine. Because with awful play calling on the Falcons, Bijan had over 50% of the Falcons' total yardage throughout the season. And if you add Drake London and Kyle Pitts to that, those three, Bijan, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts had 85% of the Falcons' total offense. You look at a lot of other teams in the league, you got to add 4 and 5 players to get to 85% of the total offensive yards gained throughout the season. Yet the Falcons had a terrible game plan, terrible offense, terrible designs, and 3 players still continued to carry all throughout the season. So I say all that to say, with this group, as great as they were last year, as great as we seen Bijan last year, as great as we seen Drake London, Kyle Pitts, you add more fire to the fuel. You boost up the personnel on the offensive side, giving you a speed guy in Zachariah Branch who can stretch the field. Now you got Jahan Dotson, who's solidified himself as an elite number 2. You also add Zacchaeus there, who's a veteran guy who can catch the ball and help spread the floor as well. So you add a lot more pieces outside of Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan. And I think this offense can definitely thrive because now you have a vertical threat. We didn't really have a vertical threat last year. I mean, last year was Darnell Mooney, who couldn't catch a pass. Dude couldn't catch a single thing last year. There was so many times in crunch time where Darnell Mooney was dropping these wide open, point blank passes that would have helped us go on a game-winning drive or secure a game-winning drive. So there's a lot of different things where the personnel from the Falcons is a lot different. And I'm anticipating that now the offensive side of the ball, personnel wise, is what I'm acclaiming to or what I'm speaking about is going to be better because I really didn't have a lot of faith in them last year. And watching how that played out, it was really Drake London. It was a 3-piece offense with those guys last year. And that's going to be a little bit different. So I'm excited that now we have something to look forward to, but even more, I think the game plan is going to be better. So not only is the personnel going to be better with the Atlanta Falcons, because obviously you have some of the newer guys here. You have Zacchaeus, who's going to help at the receiving position. You have obviously Zachariah Branch, who's going to stretch the field. Jahan Dotson, who can help stretch the field. You add a lot more speed with a possession threat along with Drake London. So Zachariah Branch can help spread the floor now. So instead of just running these slant routes and not being able to get the ball all the way downfield and have these big 50, 60-yard bombs to someone else outside of Drake London, we have that threat now in Zachariah Branch. And honestly, we also have that threat in Jahan Dotson because Dotson can move. He can move. And you still have your possession guy with Drake London. So the offense has boosted up the receiving position by far, a huge amount. And I think this can be very helpful. Obviously, Bijan, I think the contract stuff will get situated. So I'm not too worried about that. But ultimately, with Kyle Pitts there, Bijan, and everybody else, it'll be a success. And so I say all this to say, with this offense that the Falcons have right now, all the skill guys that they have, I can see the Falcons, man, it's going to be tough. I can see the Falcons either going 6-11 or 11-6. And this is just purely based on the schedule that they have. I've already mentioned they boosted up the offensive side of the ball with more skilled players than just Kyle Pitts, Bijan, and Drake London. They have a lot more of guys to support that big three. But now, as long as the play calling is decent and as long as the play design is decent, I can see this team either winning 11 games or possibly losing 11 games. It's really going to depend on what the offense can do, because the defense gave me plenty of confidence to believe in them based on what they did last year. And granted, that defense for the Atlanta Falcons was on the field a lot last year. They stayed on the field. They consistently kept the Falcons in ball games, and the offense just consistently blew the game, along with some bad kicking issues and things like that. So there's some ups and downs, but I'm not going to put a certain amount of win total. I'm going to just say, as far as the Falcons, they can either win 11 games or they can lose 11 games. We might be looking at 6-11, or we might be looking at 11-6, because the schedule with the Atlanta Falcons is also very tough this year. Like this is not an easy schedule. Last year was really the time for the Falcons to end that playoff drought and flip that record to a positive, because they had the easier schedule. But now, yeah, you do have more offensive pieces. Okay, cool. You do have a coaching staff that's probably, able to cook something up. We don't know yet. Hopefully this is the case. But however, the schedule is much more difficult than what it was last year. By far. So this is what worries me when I'm talking about, I don't know if the Falcons going to win 8 games, if they're going to win 10, if they're going to win 11. I don't know if they win 5. Like, I'm genuinely so curious, and I think it's going to be a week-to-week thing. And I know that's a terrible way to do. I'm supposed to give a bold take and all of that. But no, genuinely, man, I genuinely don't know what this Atlanta Falcons team is going to do. With the talent they have, defensively and offensively, they could win 11 games and they could damn sure lose 11 games. We're either looking at 6-11 or 11-6, one or the other. But I don't think it'll be another in-between type of thing. I think either this team will be really good or they'll be really bad. I think that's what we're looking at here. I doubt we see another 8-9 type of situation where they were just above average and they were subpar offensively and subpar defensively, even though that was not the case last year. I don't think we see that. I think we see either 8 or either 6-11 or 11-6. And to me, this is the expectation. This is the only expectation I have for them. Either you guys are going to be really good or really bad. And I credit a lot of that up to the coaching staff. I mean, this is going to be a big deciding factor of what happens, like if the coaching staff is good or not. So, it's an interesting perspective. We'll see what happens. This team, man, like I said, they added a lot of talent, and I'm excited for it. But altogether, you got to take this week by week, because this Falcons schedule is war, man. This Falcons schedule is no easy cakewalk like we had last year, especially if the teams we're seeing are healthy. So this is why I say we could either be 6-11 or 11-6, because if we're coming out guns blazing, we're on our P's and Q's on both offense and defense like we were last year on the defensive side, then definitely, if the offense is clicking, then we can win a lot of these ball games on this schedule. But week by week, you got to take this thing week by week, man. I'm not jumping and throwing a specific number on there. I'm just saying either 6-11 or 11-6. Falcons will either be really good or they'll either be really bad, because yes, they boosted up the offense. They have a new coaching staff. They have new guys calling plays. The defense is still solid. You add a lot more depth on the defensive side. However, offensively, that's the question mark. And although they've added more pieces on the offensive end, this team, man, has a very tough schedule. Their schedule is no cakewalk. So this is what's going to be the deciding factor. Let's just go week by week and see what happens. I don't know. But other than that, man, look, let's take a quick break and we're going to jump into also the training camp things. So some training camp hype, man, is training camp is a funny time, man. Training camp is a funny time, and I'll explain exactly why in just a sec. So we'll take a quick break, and then we'll jump back into the topic of training camp, and what to expect in training camp, and if we take this a little too serious or not. So we'll be right back. It's halftime. Let's do it. All right, man, welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Man, off-season time, training camp time, NFL season is back. So excited for it. And, one of the things that I think about around this time of July, August now. Damn, that's crazy. We're around the corner, fellas. We got like 4 weeks until kickoff. But at this point, we actually get football this week. We get the Hall of Fame game. I probably won't watch it. I'm not that desperate into watching football, and I'm good. I'll probably cut it on. I'll probably pay attention to some stuff and joke around, but realistically, I might not watch it. But that's as of now. Who knows what will be the case when the game come on Thursday. Other than that, look, man, training camp is happening. And I just want to say a couple things because in training camp, this time in the NFL, bro, training camp is hilarious, man. I really think training camp is one of the funniest things. And during the beginning of the season, training camp makes me laugh the most. During the beginning of the season, nothing makes me laugh more than training camp because you have all 32 fan bases thinking their team is the best in the world. We've all been on a dry spell from watching football. So the moment we see our top players on the team do anything remarkably athletic, we're like, we are winning the freaking Super Bowl. And it's hilarious because this is what training camp is. And I think you go to any area of a specific team and look at their training camp, look at the comments and stuff, teams all have high hopes. Everybody is dreaming big for a Super Bowl. It don't matter who it is. It don't matter if the team went 5-12 last year. It don't matter if they only won 4 games, 3 games, 7 games. It does not matter. Everybody during training camp, every fan base during training camp strictly believes that their team is going to go to the Super Bowl. And I think a big reason for that is because none of us have watched football in 5+ months and we're seeing our top guys do something athletic. So it's funny to me that training camp, this is what it does to people. Like, this is what it does. And it makes me think we take training camp a little too serious. Like I see people get a little too hyped during training camp. And it's not anybody's fault. Granted, we haven't watched football in 5 months, and it's not anybody's fault specifically, but I think people really get a little too hyped during training camp. And part of the reason I say this is because we see the reports. There's sessions of training camps, of every team's training camps where there's no phones allowed, no recording and things like that. So they let you record the one-on-ones. They let you record the drills to see the guys do things athletic. But there's a specific period in just about every team's training camp where they say no recording. Like you can't record some of the plays being ran and things like that. And that's the small period that really throw everybody off. Because you start to see these reports. Drake London goes up after a 50-yard bomb. One hand catches the ball. And then the reporters say something like, he caught it with his index finger. He caught the ball. It was only 2 fingers that touched the ball. These reports are insane. I swear to you, man. I see these. Jameson Williams or Jameson Williams. J-Mo, whatever, bro, whatever. It doesn't matter. I see these reports. J-Mo sprinted downfield. Jared Goff threw a 50-yard bomb. J-Mo must have ran a 3.9 40-yard dash trying to catch this ball. These reports are nuts during training camp, bro. You can't believe everything you see. And you can't let the verbiage hype everything up. Because it's going to be very disappointing for a lot of these teams when some of these teams don't even win 3 games after, having this super hype moment during training camp. And I'm talking, meanwhile, my team very much might be one of those teams where, okay, we're buying into all this hype of training camp and then nothing during the regular season. So this is a very realistic thing. But I think it's funny because we see these reports and people get so hyped and it's hard to stay in the middle ground, but ultimately you have to stay in the middle ground because if you don't pay enough attention to what's happening in training camp, or if you don't pay enough attention to what's happening in training camp, then you kind of left out of the loop. You don't know who's doing what. You don't know what guys on your roster might have a breakout season. So therefore, now your fantasy picks are looking bad. You're not really able to follow along during training camp. You're wondering where's the rookie you drafted. You're wondering where's the all-pro offensive lineman that you traded for. Meanwhile, he went down in training camp, and the rookie, he went down and he hasn't been feeling good. Like, so you do have to pay attention during training camp, but you just can't get a little too hyped when you see these reports where it's like, oh, Caleb Williams threw a 75-yard bomb with his left hand instead of his right. Like, some of these reports just be nuts, man. And mind you, it's that small period. It's that small period during every NFL training camp where they don't let you record what's happening. But just only believe what you see on video. I'm going to just say, like, only believe what you see on video and take it all with a grain of salt. Because these guys in training camp aren't necessarily playing against ones every time they're on field. Like, you're not watching the ones on offense go against the ones on defense every time you see these magical reports of these 50-yard bombs and these crazy catches of guys jumping over the goalposts and catching the ball and catching passes with his feet. Like, when you see these crazy reports, just take it with a grain of salt, because, only believe what you see on video. And even when you see it on video, they're not going against ones every time. The ones aren't going against the defensive ones. The defensive ones aren't always going against the offensive ones. So you got guys who are trying to make the team. You got guys who are still putting their best foot forward, who are trying to find a home, who might be going to another training camp in a week, honestly. So you never really know what's going to happen. And I kind of look at training camp in the NFL similar to the summer league in basketball. Like, obviously, it's very different, but comparing the two, I look at training camp similar to the summer league in basketball. No, you got young guys trying to establish themselves. Young guys trying to prove that they belong. The guys who got drafted trying to show potential of what they do. This is some of the most important reps that a lot of people pay attention to see how the rookies they drafted will pan out. And then you also have guys who haven't been on an NFL roster in 2 to 3 years. They got invited to a training camp. They're participating. They're trying to show coaches what they can do. Similar to the summer league. You got guys in the G League overseas, been around basketball their whole life, trying to show coaches that they can add value to a team. However, the small part that differs is obviously the pros in the NBA aren't playing in the summer league. They don't want to get hurt. They want to give the young guys a time to shine. Whereas in the NFL training camp, the veteran guys and the guys on these big contracts don't really have that summertime to go hoop. Instead of them doing all their work behind the scenes, like most likely what happens in the NBA during the summertime, these guys have to also perform with the rookies and all during one time of training camp. So it's slightly different, but I think the hype is still similar. If I see somebody in the summer league drop 50 points, I can't get super excited about that because they're not playing against the professionals. And similar to with training camp in the NFL, if I see somebody go up and make these crazy catches, I can't get too excited about that because this is something where they're not going against the starters against their own team, yet along other teams who have their best guys on the field. So it goes hand in hand. And ultimately, we just can't get too hype about about training camp. We can't get too hype about training camp, man. No, that will send you down a very slippery slope of depression. And I know the NFL season just got back. So that's the last thing we want to do. We want to at least wait until the season starts before anybody gets spun over to a season of depression. and speaking of, it's kind of crazy because, I'm looking at a lot of the injuries and things that's happening during training camp, and it's unfortunate, very unfortunate. But despite all the injuries that's happening during training camp, I'm seeing multiple teams lose players and things like that. This is the key thing with training camp. You want to make it out of training camp healthy. If you're a young guy, you're trying to establish yourself, you want to make it on the roster. So a lot of people focus on different things during training camp. Everybody's trying to get in shape, get in game shape and things like that. Especially, I think it's important that people play in preseason games too, just a little bit to get somewhat acclimated to the game speed, especially the rookies and guys who have never been on a team for a full season. So I think these things are important. However, there's a lot of people who have not made it out of training camp. And specifically, there's one team within the 5 to 7 days of training camp, they've lost 5 star players already in training camp. And this is the San Francisco 49ers, man. Because, I knew the power plant or whatever it was doing numbers. But damn, like this is crazy that they've lost so many different people due to this electrical substation by their practice field. And I don't know the science behind it, bro. I genuinely don't. But all I know is that within the 5 to 7 days that training camp has been happening, the 49ers have lost multiple skilled players. They've damn near lost a skilled player each day that they've hosted a day of training camp next to that electrical subfield or whatever it is. So I just don't, I don't know what's going on. Like, look at these. Look at this. Mike Evans. Oh, bro, this is just crazy. This is crazy. And it's been 5 practices. I said 5 to 7, so I gave him too much credit. It's been 5 practices only. And this is why I'm like, look, man, who knows? But hopefully these guys are okay. I don't want the 49ers to win anything, like go crazy, whatever, but I do want these guys to be healthy. I can hate watch on a specific team, but I can also want the guys to be healthy on that team. So I can hate watch on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Saints, and the Panthers, but ultimately I want those guys to be healthy. I don't want them to be getting on the field with bumps and bruises already. I want to beat them while they're at their best. So I look at it the same with the San Francisco 49ers. Just these dudes is beat down already. 5 days into practice. Five practices. And this electrical thingy over here is really tearing them up. Electrical substation. I mean, dog. Every year. This thread is crazy. But other than that, look, man, that's all I got. If you've been tapping in and you're tuned in on the pod, I appreciate it. Jump on the live stream. Go to YouTube, check it out. Check out the full show there. So if you're wondering why I'm blabbering and going on sometimes, that's why, because the stream. Outside of that, man, look, I appreciate you if you've been tapping in on the pod, man. So happy to be back with you guys to start off another season. And if you're on a live stream, man, look, man, I appreciate it. Say what's up. Jump in, throw a take out there. Tell a friend. For all platforms, hit us up on the social medias. Instagram at The Run Podcast. TikTok at The Run Podcast. YouTube, The Run with Manny Wilson. Twitter at Podcast The Run. Check it all out. And until then, look, man. What, it's Monday? Yeah, we might be back. We might be back later in this week. Or it might just be, we might slowly, whatever. We'll figure it out. Anyway, we'll be back later on and so on and so on and so on.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.